Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, Spade Adventurers. Welcome back to another Spade Gals original video. This channel has script stories such as Girl Cyclones, Quincore, Florali, and vlogs. We also have a gaming channel called Spade Gals Productions with gaming and unboxing. So you might notice things look a little bit different. Now, usually I do original stuff on SGO, and I really do. But here's the thing. I've never done any art videos, and while I would like to do stuff of my own original stuff, I feel like the best way to get the channel up and the art stuff up is by doing something that I enjoy and have wanted to do for a little bit, as well as I feel like you guys would enjoy. So eventually we will get to like original characters or just randomness, whatever, with a whole entire art series. At least that's the hope, that's the plan. However, what we are going to do is something related to Pokemon. Now, as you guys know, I'm a Pokemon fan. I'm not a big Pokemon fan, but I did watch a bunch of Sun and Moon, and I just finished up all the stuff of Indigo League on Netflix, which apparently isn't all the episodes, but that doesn't matter. So we're going to have a short portion where I'm going to roll a random Pokemon number out of the original 151 Pokemon, and what I get will end up being what we end up making as an Alolan form. That's right, I am making my own versions of Alolan forms. Now, a few rules is that if it's already an Alolan form, I won't be making my own version. However, I will try to make this at least some logical explanation story about what I'm gonna do with each Pokemon, what type they are, and keep in mind, I haven't finished Sun and Moon or really gotten too far into it. So I'm going to try my best, and if I end up getting things wrong, I do apologize. But it's going to be my kind of interpretation of what an Alolan Pokemon could be. And I think that's going to be fun. So, of course, the challenge is going to be, I don't know how many Alolan Pokemon there are. I know there's like Alolan Geodude, Alolan Executor, you know, those kind of stuff. If we do get stuff like Alolan Pikachu, I'm probably gonna opt not to do it. And if per se I get, you know, something with multiple evolutions, I'm only gonna be doing the one Pokemon. I'm not gonna be doing its evolutions or pre-evolutions. So let's generate. Number 1, 2, 3. So what is Pokemon 123? I have no idea, but I really hope it's not like something like Mr. Mime or anything like that. I might have to censor out that stupid ad thing. Scyther! Okay. So Scyther is a bug flying type. Interesting. I don't really know much about Scyther, so it's definitely going to be interesting. And let me make sure. Yep, we got Scyther. So I'm gonna go out on my own. I'm gonna look at some Scyther artwork for references, of course, and then I'm also gonna I'm gonna look at multiple amounts of things. So hopefully that will help me. And unfortunately, as of right now, I don't know how to put the reference on there, so it'll just be me making the art. So have fun looking at the art. Alright, it's time for more stuff that I'm horrible at, being the fast talking while we're creating Scyther. So, a few things I want to mention is, first off, if you see my mouse randomly moving in the background, that's because there's some menus that you can't see. Just want to put that out there. So, I decided for this whole entire thing, since I've never made a Pokemon, and I've never really made anything that has a bunch of very different parts to it, I decided to go as much as possible with the free tool, which is such a great tool, and at times, yeah, I did get a little bit sleepy and a little bit lackluster. But in the beginning, you do see me doing stuff like taking the original eye, making it smaller, and then kind of tracing over it to see, okay, what is the original eye shape, and trying to make it, you know, fit the mold, fit the bill, instead of copying as I usually do. And other things you'll see is my mistakes of flipping the colors back and forth, where you'll be like, okay, that looks a little bit weird. So, considering the fact that I've never made anything Pokemon related, or, as a matter of fact, Alolan Pokemon related, you know, even hand-drawn, it was a big question of how far different should I go with this Pokemon, and how, like, what differences would it have in Alola? It's a bug-flying type, and that really clicked with me, because I was like, okay, I'm going to do a bug steel type for this, but I thought that Scyther was a bug steel type until I looked and saw, wait a second, he's not just a bug steel type, he's actually bug flying, so I could use that to my advantage, and you'll see that later on in the Alolan Pokedex entry that I put. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but one thing different that I decided to do for this is I decided to try shading. One thing for shading is that a lot of people who use it have a lot better of a result. You have what is the light and what is the dark, and it looks better if you can do it properly. While I've not really ever done shading, it can look a bit rough in some areas, and I did make some mistakes, but honestly, I feel like the head I did really, really good with. And this whole time I was looking at a whole entire Scyther picture from Pokemon Go and from, you know, just the original Pokemon. Now already you can see one of my mistakes, which is why his shoulders won't actually be shaded, which, yeah, it's a shame. But I had to go back and I had to fix some of the coloring, which meant that I couldn't shade any of it, because then it would just get a little too confused, and it would have been a little too hard to do, because I was already at a point where I was like, okay, well, I just want to keep moving. I'm listening to Pokemon music, so I'm gonna do that. I was listening to so much. I was listening to Smash Brothers music, original Pokemon. I don't know if I actually listened to any original Pokemon music, but I did listen to X and Y, which, I mean, it's okay, but definitely not the best. Now, as you can see, there's a whole entire theme emerging that is very different for Scyther. And while I did keep a lot of things plain, one thing's for sure, I kept to a very strong theme, and that theme, as you can see, is watermelon. Now, my whole idea in concept was the fact that I felt, you know, for the blades, he'd probably be going and cutting a bunch of fruit. And because of that, I decided to give him this very watermelon-based theme. So while the theming is strong, the colors are very, very similar. His palette hasn't really changed. And because there's so much shading to do, and so many different shades to make sure that you can see, okay, this is the body, this is the head, this is this part of the Pokemon, it made it a little bit tricky, because I had to keep going back and copying, pasting all of the colors just so that I could have all that shading there, which definitely made it very difficult to do. And you'll see me going back, making sure proportions are right by copying the original ones, like I'm doing right there. Now, you might be like, okay, Spins, why is the center and the shoulders and the blades very different colors from the watermelon and the center? Well, here's the thing. The center, I put that triangle at the bottom, which I had a problem was because that same color wouldn't work, so I had to take the red from the top. But then, if you look at Scyther's artwork, his blades are so much lighter than the rest of that color that's used on him, so I decided to make all of that different. And another thing you'll see different that I decided to do is on the larger seeds, I shaded them with a bit of gray, then copy-pasted them so that the shading stayed the same. And you might be wondering why the knives are that kind of way that they are, and that's only because we actually have a watermelon knife that is actually patterned like a watermelon, so I wanted to put that whole thing. And the joints, like the shoulders and the legs, those kind of look like the color of like what a watermelon ball would look like. So I decided to put some little rinds on there because it's cute, right? It's adorable. And then I made its legs a little bit funky. Before, you also did see me trying to put a whole entire little different color in there, which I decided that's not going to work. I'm just going to leave that there. There are lines there, but whatever. And I went the same idea with the feet. I was going to put seeds there, but I felt like it would have been a little bit too crowded. So I kept it simple. I mean, as simple as a Scyther based on watermelon can realistically be. And then, as you can see on the leg joints, because I didn't have that mistake, I could do that shading. And I did have a problem with the second leg because of areas. And I was thinking of putting the wings there, but then I was like, no, the wings aren't going to work because it's not a flying type anymore. It's just, it wouldn't make sense because now it's a bug steel, and maybe it would. So its angle is a little bit weird, and as I did say, I had a little bit of trouble with the legs, but eventually I got something I was decently happy with. I felt like I could have been a little more happy with, but, you know. And I did mess up with the shading a little bit. So because of that, you can see like on the leg, on one side there's light, but then on the other side there is also light and then dark on each area. Because of that mistake that I had already made, I figured I would try to make the lighting make a little bit more sense since it was coming to the left from where the head was perspective. But if you look on the arm... Oh, shoot. Alrighty, everybody, and here is Alolan Scyther. Now, before the video ends, I will put a picture with no layout and all that. But here's the full artwork. The only thing I need to add is my name and the address... Not the address. The date. Wow, you can tell I'm tired. It is 11 p.m. This project took a little longer than I thought because I didn't think I'd get Scyther. But basically the gist of it, and I'm probably gonna put this in afterwards as well. But the whole entire idea was going for a watermelon theme because I thought, okay, how can Scyther be different? I thought he's probably bug steel. And that made me a little worried because I wasn't sure what I was going to change him to. But then I saw he was bug flying, and I was like, perfect, there we go. I have my change immediately. He is a little bit tilted, so without the wings, it does look a little bit weird. But I've never done Pokemon before, and I think this looks great. Never done shading before, and I think it turned out quite nicely. So... What I had gone for is the Pokedex entry for this is when Scyther came to Alola, people ended up, you know, in tropical areas, you end up cutting a lot of fruit. In anime, for some reason, there's a lot of watermelon. So I was like, okay, it would be great if the people of Alola had Scyther cutting watermelon to the point where it became an Alolan version to where that's all it did. It, like, just cut watermelon and maybe, like, coconuts for the people of Alola to be able to relax. So that was kind of my my thought process, and I went full-fledged with that. I made the green a little bit darker. I was thinking about making it lighter, but I was like, okay, well, it's going to be in the sun a lot, so I'm going to make it a little darker green so it's a little bit more tan. And I put a lot more reds in there. I changed the tannish kind of color to reds, and I added that into the design, added a bunch of like watermelon stuff. There's a few things that it's like, okay, this isn't very detailed, but I feel like sometimes simplicity works because there's already a lot of detail in the blades with the seeds and the middle, also the head. So having that simplistic middle, having the slightly more simplistic feet works a lot better. And then his feet can also be seen as blades as well. Another thing that I went for was a whole entire Ryan design, which, I mean, of course, throughout the whole entire video, you saw me talk about this, so I don't need to really talk about my thoughts about where I was going, because I will be talking about that in the video. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and if you guys want to see more of this, let me know. I didn't think this would take as long, so I'll probably maybe do, like, it'll probably be short art videos and then one per. If you guys want to see more Alolan Pokemon, let me know. And if you want to see more art in general, also let me know. Hope to see you guys in the next video. And here is the additional information for this artwork. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, you can go to the right of the screen to find more SGP videos, as well as some SGO videos, and to the left, you can find the subscription button for SGP and SGO. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye!